Hi everyone. We are back for another version or another episode of uh, collage papers. And as usual, I'm just going to do something very, very simple, which you can take as far as you want. I mean, it could be a much more intricate designs. But I'm going to use good old crayons and some craft paint. This is just plain white copy paper. It just happens to be legal size. I like the legal size paper just for the fun of it, but I also have a lot of it. I like to draw with a white crayon. That's a lot of fun. But as you can see, I've drawn on this one. You can't see it. So because I am going to do this on camera, I'm going to show you with a light colored crayon. It really doesn't matter. You could, well, actually, let's do it with a dark colored crayon because then you can see what happens. I've got a couple of examples already drawn. I am not going to make anything fancy as far as design goes today, but marks on paper are what we want for our collage. So anything that we do that puts the marks on the paper now, granted, you could just color on the paper, but this is going to have another layer added to it so that it has some, well, some interest, I think. We just want to get our crayon marks all over our paper. Okay, now let me put the crayon back so I don't lose it. You don't have to use plain white paper. You can use book paper. I've drawn a couple of other sheets, but now I'm going to show you the next step, and I'm just going to work through these papers so you can see what happens. What I really wanted you to see was that you could use a brush, you can use a credit card, anything you want to scrape the paint across these. Okay, so one thing I can tell you is that the more, the bigger the difference in the color of the crayon, the paper, whatever, gives more interest. At the same time, the resist on this is really interesting in that when you start layering multiple pieces of color over it, you get this through there. But the other thing is that I want to show you is that you can take a baby wipe and clean off. Now, this isn't completely dry, but you can clean off your crayon a little bit. Some of the paint will come up off of the crayon, not off of the paper. So your crayon marks will come through more if you want to take the time to do that. The biggest and nicest part of this is when your paint is contrasting to your crayon, because then you get an even nicer difference in your colors. The baby wipe is just taking the paint up off of the wax is what's happening. Okay. Now, these aren't completely dry, so I can't do it as much as I might like, but you want to let them dry and then go in with your baby wipe just over your crayon marks, and it'll bring them out even more. This one is a very good example of that because the black really, and the other thing is maybe I didn't get enough crayon down on my paper. Maybe I wasn't aggressive enough with my crayon, but it is there. The marks are there. And you're not going to take the paint off the paper, just off the wax. You can see how they are. The more crayon you get down, the more difference in the colors of your ink, the more noticeable your marks will be. Let me bring you in and show them to you again. Because while I can see them, you're not seeing them very well. You don't want a thick layer of paint over the top of your marks. You just want a little bit. I really like this one. This one will be great to tear up. But you notice that right here, looks like I got a lot of paint over my mark. If I just clean it off a little bit, the wax comes out. The marks in the back come out. Do be a little bit aggressive with your crayon. Don't hesitate to put some crayon on the paper. I really like the black and white situation. I just wasn't aggressive enough. And when you can't see what you're doing, it's hard to tell what your crayon is doing, honestly. So it might have been better had I chosen, say, a pink crayon or something a little bit lighter. Anyways, guys, that's our collage paper for this week. Remember, we're going to tear these up. I really like this spot right there. And, you know, I'm going to use this in pieces. I'm not going to use the whole thing. So that little spot kind of, I kind of like how it bled out onto the white now too. So don't hesitate to play with your paper. This is paper and paint. But think about using something like your crayons. These are just inexpensive children's crayons. Nothing fancy. For that matter, you could draw with a candle. There's no reason why not. All you want to do is put the wax on the paper so that your paint resists it. Okay, guys, go have fun. Make some art. Bye-bye.